What is going on, everyone? Welcome to the Investing Bros. Bitcoin is up. Altcoins are up. Is the bottom in, or is for some reason it's a fake out? We're going to be talking about that and more, but we did just get a massive bullish flash. I cannot wait to show you on the daily chart. This is the Investing Bros. Let's roll that intro.
Yeah.
All right. What's going on? T-Shroom in the house, taking over from me yesterday. How are you doing, T-Shroom?
Well, Tim, I'm doing better than I deserve, and I've got a different hat on today, and it says Stonks. This is an old hat, actually. My fiance, who graduated yesterday from DPT school, Doctorate of Physical Therapy school, over at the University of Florida. She gave me this hat a little while ago. See how I snuck in kind of how my week was in that story about my hat more than anything.
Well,
how are you doing, Tim?
I am doing, I would say good. Want to thank everybody yesterday for prayers. I'm going to try to be brief as possible. I told you guys I would let you know what's happening. The Discord members already know. Yesterday morning, for those who don't know, my 11-month-old son Brody, he's had a fever for since the night before. So I guess that started Wednesday night. He got a fever, and yesterday morning, even when I left, he had a fever. But kids get fevers. Well, it turns out he had what is called a febrile seizure. The good news everyone should know is he's going to be okay. That's what the doctors have said. It's one of those things that it's a baby's way of responding to. They just got too hot, and it's how they're going to kind of recharge and cool it all down. In the moment, it's one of the scariest things ever. My wife FaceTimed me. He was unresponsive. He was shaking. It is a very scary thing. But the good news is it's more common than you would think. We did call 911. I rushed home as fast as I could. Who knew what was going to happen? But he was doing a lot better. I will let you guys know he's even right now. My wife's texting me. His fever is pretty back up. He's not looking good. He just looks tired and exhausted. I told her if anything, if she just doesn't feel comfortable, to call me and I'll be ditching out. I'm going to go ahead and probably call it for our VIP trading group, guys. I'm sorry to do this again. I'm going to try to be on the show today as long as possible, but I do think when the show's over today, I'm going to have to we're going to have to push the VIP trading group's stream to next week. Sorry about that, but I'm going to go home. Even Taylor, I think she's doing okay, but it's just not easy to see your son not doing well. Again, doctors have assured us this is semi-normal. I guess it happens in like up to 5% of babies when they have fevers, which is higher than you would think. It's going to have no long-term effects whatsoever, but it definitely was a very scary, couple of minutes there yesterday morning. So again, thank you everybody for your prayers. Even just like going through this all, we're going to get into crypto, but it's a great reminder of resetting priorities. God's given me lots of opportunities to reset priorities. For those who don't know, my wife and I, years ago, we had with our first pregnancy, we had a miscarriage, which is, not, it's common, but it's not like the majority. So we just kind of like, why did this happen to us? But, we got through it. We got pregnant again a couple of months later. And then my wife had what's called an ectopic pregnancy. Those are not common at all. I mean, that's almost borderline like hitting the lottery. It pretty much the baby formed in the fallopian tube, and we had to take her. She bled into her stomach, could have died. We had to take her to the emergency room, emergency surgery to save her life. But obviously, that baby did not end up getting born. My wife lost one of her fallopian tubes. It's one of those things like you can still have kids, but of course now your chances are cut in half. So that was a very hard time for both of us as well. And then we had Brody, and Brody is amazing, and he is more often than not a very healthy, lively, amazing little boy. But it's just one of those things. Like you resort your priorities very easily in these moments, and I'm excited to be here with you guys today. I get emotional when I talk about this stuff. It's just been a long road. So yeah.
Yeah, man. There's definitely a lot to process, but we believe in God that everything's going to be A-OK just as we move forward. And, it's definitely a trial to go through, but I think we're all strong as a community here. We'll get through it together.
Yeah. Let's do it. Let's get into crypto. Again, thank you to every single one of you guys. I love all of you guys. I know you guys have, even though a lot of you've never met me, you've sent love and your thoughts, and it means a lot to me and my wife. And so we're gonna keep going on. And again, if for some reason I rush out, I don't think it's gonna be anything wrong. It's just my wife saying, "Hey, she needs me to come home." So everything will be okay. Let's go ahead and break in here, T-Shroom. But let's again before we get to the charts, I forgot. We got a quote of the day, more than likely. You got a quote for us?
Yeah. So actually, today we've been requested with a word of the day, and so I went over to the NewYorkTimes.com. They have a word of the day section. I don't, this has been a new request from the community, specifically Username and Warrior have been requesting this. So this is just the system that I'm kind of dodging towards right now. Word of the day: rueful. This word appears in 34 articles in the New York Times in the past year. Can you use it in a sentence? Okay, great. So it doesn't give the definition, but that is the word of the day. Rueful.
Rueful.
I
mean, rue the day.
What do you think it means?
So it's like, so if you rue the day, doesn't that have like a not fond? You're not fondly looking forward to something. Maybe, I don't know.
Yes.
Maybe negative.
Yes, feeling or expressing pain or sorrow. Rueful. And in the context, it was used in the New York Times. Again, not that we're like jumping up and down, huge fans of the New York Times, but it ended in the most excruciating way for Megan Rapinoe. Penalty kick skied across the crossbar, shock, disappointment, and rueful smile to herself. Okay. So there you go.
Well, there
I don't know if that word of the day was a success, but
rueful.
There you go.
Rueful. There we go. Let's do it. All right, let's get in here and let's take a look at what is happening in crypto. Look at this sea of green, everybody. Love seeing this. Already 17% HBAR 13, Pendle 13 Wild. Got a lot of green stuff going on here. Let's look at more specifically, starting over here. CoinMarketCap top 10. Bitcoin. I don't know if you guys saw that. Bitcoin dominance definitely took a little bit of a pump while things are pumping today. We'll have to take a look at the charts. But 4.24% for Bitcoin, only 2.6 for Ethereum, 2.9 for BNB, 2.8 for Solana, XRP 1, Dogecoin up 5, Toncoin, big bounce back. Remember, we were getting close there between Cardano and Toncoin, but now we are back up to where Toncoin's pretty safely holding that number 9 spot. Cardano only up 2%. Now, Cardano is back up to 46 cents. I did see there was some big news on Cardano, T-Stream. I don't know if you covered that. Is it true? Because, again, I was out of it pretty much yesterday, not following the news. Is it true that, what was it? What was the PayPal, I think, just added Cardano? Is that true? Do you know if that's true or not? I thought I read that.
I am glad that you brought that up because that's one of the stories for today.
Okay, good. Good to know.
Yeah.
All right.
And I did not close the tab. I found the tab here. Just in U.S. Well, this is as of May 2nd, so it was breaking news yesterday. Right. U.S. PayPal users can now purchase the following cryptocurrencies through MoonPay in a partnership with PayPal: Solana, Cardano, Polkadot, Chainlink, and then a little bit more questionable that beat out the likes of XRP and others, Shiba Inu and Dogecoin. So those are going to be the ones that were added. Now, this is significant, in my opinion, because PayPal is not messing around. They're very TradFi. Yeah. A lot of investors may kind of view actions similar to this as actions you might expect and might have the same weight, Wall Street backing as Robinhood or even Coinbase. So that's why I think this is very significant, and it'll be interesting to see if Robinhood goes ahead and lists Solana and Cardano and others that are on this list.
Yeah,
Dogecoin and Chainlink are both on Robinhood. So. Very interesting list. What do you think about this? Do you think it's bullish for Cardano?
I think it's bullish for all of them. And anytime there's another route to it being utilized, that's bullish. So bullish for the rest of the coins on there as well. Solana and Polkadot. And I didn't memorize the entire list. Those are two that stuck out to me, though. Chainlink. Oh, why did I not sing out Chainlink? Shiba Inu, Dogecoin. Good for all of them. I think this is good for all of them. I think, there has been a lot of ups and downs. There's a lot of people who have different opinions on how altcoins move. But you guys know, if you guys have been watching the channel for a while, I've told you guys, I'm not really reading too heavily into localized crypto prices for altcoins, even the run-ups that we saw. I mean, of course, big run-ups for the likes of Solana and a couple other altcoins out there. I'm not necessarily glued to the theory, though, that what we saw before Bitcoin halving is what we're going to see post halving as well. Meaning there's some people with the theory of, oh, whatever coins had big pumps pre halving, those are the ones you should be ready for and invested in for the post halving. I don't know that's how history even has that working out. I think there's still a lot of altcoins that maybe didn't get a lot of attention. They didn't have any popping news for any dramatic adoption. Some did. But ultimately, as we get closer into the fall and into December of 2024, I still think a lot of altcoins are going to have very good times in the future, and those probably 5-6 months of altcoin season in the bull markets. Let's go ahead and take a look here, T-Shroom, at some other things. Now, remember, got to close this. Well, shout out to iTrust Capital here, T-Shroom. You share my screen. We're going to take a look at the Bitcoin Fear and Greed Index. I know, we didn't even plan this. Bitcoin Fear and Greed Index just working right with us to promote iTrust Capital. If you want to invest your money and pay no taxes on it in the future, then iTrust Capital is the way you do that in a legal format. So go check them out. There's a link down below. When they sign up with us, T-Shroom, don't they get like $100?
Now, Tim, you're exactly right about that. You have everything to gain and nothing to lose.
Yeah.
And there's a monetary price as well on how much you have to gain, and that's $100. That could be towards your very first crypto investment. If you have not invested in crypto yet, it's a great way to get started. That's who we trust over at iTrust Capital, right above our heads all day, every day.
Let's go ahead and take a look here. Bitcoin Fear and Greed Index. Do you guys remember? About a week ago, I told you what was the number I needed to see to feel more confident about Bitcoin rebounding. I said close to, if not below 40. Well, we went to 43. I'm going to call that, T-Shroom. Are you comfortable with me calling that close enough?
I am. It's I think the Fear and Greed Index is like horseshoes and hand grenades, where close is close enough.
Yeah. Ultimately, if you come over here and you look at, let's go like the last 3 months here, a lot of hovering between 60 and 90, right? We did have that one day we kind of fell below 60, but then bounced right back above it. I told you guys, based off of historical Fear and Greed Index history, even during the bullish moments, you often see dramatic pullbacks. And while I've made comparisons to June 19, I think what we're looking at is maybe more something like what we saw, even though the timeline's a little off 4-year cycle-wise. But look what we did back in August of 2020, where we did rally. We kind of came back up high. But before the bull market would take off, we had to cool back down into that 40 range. You can see it actually a lot of times that you get back up in these higher levels of fear and greed. Even if these were bullish times, you see cool-offs come back in the 40s, maybe some of them even more dramatically towards 10. In this case, I set my number as I think that 40, and technically ticking into fear, which 43 did. You guys can see yesterday, fear. That, to me, has now added into a lot of other things. I said this on Wednesday with Caleb Franzen. I was cautiously optimistic that I can't guarantee we're not going to go lower, but the 24% pullback that we just experienced, I'm talking about when we were just at 73,000, we pulled back down to about 56.6. That was about 24%. Unless there was some brand new catalyst of terrible news, that should have sufficed what Bitcoin needed to do to cool off to resume bullish price action. And you come over here and you take a look at the chart, T-Shroom, and I'm going to go to my Coinbase chart. There's definitely still resistance above us. However, I do think that what we're looking at here is very bullish. Again, I told our trading community, keep an eye on, if we go to the 4-hour chart here, keep an eye on an order block coming into some confluence with this falling level of resistance, this red line of this descending channel we're in. But just so you know, let's turn off Lux for just a second. I'm going to bring that back up. Descending channels, even though we're in a process since back here on April 24th of setting lower highs and lower lows, which is a bearish trend, ultimately, when this trend breaks, more often than not, it does break to the upside. So it comes to the question, do we see a rejection at this order block and at this resistance level, or is this the area we end up breaking to the upside? Of course, ALGO right now under a buy signal here on the 4-hour chart does say we have take profits a little more aggressively, up to at least 64.70 and then higher up here towards 67,000. That could definitely play a role. It's something I'm going to be keeping an eye on. But don't be surprised at all, everybody, if we do, in fact, see some sort of price action of a pullback come in. Maybe we wrestle with the resistance for a little bit before we eventually break to the upside. One of the reasons why I do think that we will pull back, right here on the 4-hour chart, you guys can see room to the upside, but that's my chart to kind of look at what does the next day or 2 days, maybe 24 to 48 hours, what does that look like? Don't be surprised based off the hourly chart if we do see some form of a pullback coming in. You can see here hourly, we actually got up above our take profit. We do have a smart trail concept kind of chasing us up here as well. But when I look here and I'm keeping an eye on, now why is that doing that? I could have sworn we had a different chart. There was definitely a large breaker block. Do I have the wrong signals on? Let me take a look at something real quick, guys. I got to take a look here. I don't think my settings are set up correctly. No, they're not. All right. Look at this, guys. I don't have my breaker blocks on here. You guys are watching me adjust my ALGO settings here live. My bullish ones are yellow. My bearish ones are pink. I got to get that to stick out for you guys. I was doing this on a different computer, so I guess this computer didn't catch the update. There we go. There we go. We got it. Hourly chart here, guys. We hit our take profit. We have a breaker block, which is bullish. It is a level of support, but we got a breaker block coming here at 60, just below 61,000. And when I take a look here at our oscillators, let's pull up all these oscillators. You will see hourly chart. Almost every single one of them at the moment is screaming that we're a little overbought, right? The stochastics RSI definitely looks like it wants to come down. We're screaming still 54% over, or 63% overbought, excuse me, but we were just at 100. That MACD looks like it wants to cross over. And of course, the ALGO oscillator, we just got a sell order right there, guys. Look at that. Red reversal, bearish momentum, bearish money flow, right? So hourly chart, if I'm looking for a very, very small scalp for a short, I just got all my signals. Where am I looking to maybe bounce back at, though? Probably right here just south of 61,000. There's a chance we cross all the way back down to the smart trail concept, but in this case, with this breaker block being in play, this was an area of heavy liquidity, right? With this heavy liquidity from back here on the 24th, and we just blasted on through it rather than wrestling with it. That's going to make it a pretty strong level of support. So when I'm looking at the 4-hour chart, and then I'm going to show you the daily chart in here in a second, and I'm looking at saying, all right, if I think that price is going to blast up here and start making moves up towards at least, 63,000, and maybe you start making moves towards 65, 66, I'm going to look for an entry probably somewhere right below 61 to be my new long entry. But let's talk about why I am so bullish on that longer time frame. Let me go back over here to my Coinbase chart, because again, that's where I have my resistance levels. Let's go to the daily chart. A lot of you guys clicked on the video because you saw the title, you saw the thumbnail. You're like, all right, Tim, what major bullish signal just flashed? Why should I be bullish on Bitcoin? Let's take a look at the charts. Now, oscillators right here. Let's just take a look at them. Stochastics RSI, low and just crossed bullish. You always love to see it. I've told people before, stochastics RSI is not perfect, and you're definitely not going to always be in profit. But theoretically speaking, if you just bought every single time the blue line crossed above the orange, and you sold every single time the blue line crossed below the orange, you're not going to be doing that bad in trades. Are your margins going to be huge? Not always. But you're going to be doing actually pretty decently. So that's an indicator you should be keeping an eye on. Stochastics RSI just crossed bullish. Well, then we got our RSI. RSI here, didn't get crazy overextended and oversold, but we were overextended, and now we're starting to see a bullish push up to the upside. RSI is not my strongest bullish indicator. It's just one of them. Of course, right here, you got the MACD going back bullish. We're far away from a bullish cross, but that's a very clear V bottom on the MACD line. We got a pink histogram. That's looking bullish. And now we come to the ALGO oscillator, and this is it. It's slight, it's small, but you don't get these very often on the daily chart. So when they happen, you got to be prepared and ready for them. We got two different forms of reversal coming in. Not only a green dot happening back here on April 26th, but more recently, some bullish divergence. That's what that blue line is. Of course, we got bullish momentum, and then we have, it's very slight, but the positive money flow is back in play. You don't get the trifecta very often on the daily chart, so when it happens, you got to learn to take advantage of it. When we pull back up our indicators, we hit our take profit very soundly. We came down into that level. I told you guys to watch 56 to 55. Turns out we didn't quite get to 56, but we did get to the lower levels like 56.5. We hit our take profit soundly, and now I am waiting on, this is the next thing I want to see. The oscillators are flashing by, but in the next day or two, I would not be surprised to see a buy signal on Lux Algo as well with a take profit. More than likely, it's going to take weeks to get there, but a take profit probably back up towards the top of our range, back up towards 70,000. That is Lux Algo, of course. You guys know that we have been crushing it with Lux Algo recently. The reason we're getting so many calls correct is because Lux Algo is that phenomenal of a tool. If you guys want to be trading successfully, go check it out. Link down below. You also, when you purchase it and you provide the proof of purchase in our Discord, you can get into our trading group. Again, we're supposed to have our trading stream today, but my wife, I think she just would be more comfortable if I finish the show today and come home with Brody in the condition that he's in. So we're going to postpone that to next week, but that's going to start being a weekly thing on Thursdays, is a live stream with all of our VIP traders. Coming back up here, T-Shroom. Last thing I'm going to show you guys on Bitcoin's chart, and we're going to get into some news, and we'll do some Q&A later. But what I'm talking about, I told you guys a while ago, a couple weeks ago, do not be surprised if we do see Bitcoin get back up and come to the top of this yellow range, and there's going to be some reason to cool off once again, but we're in a range here for a couple of months if history repeats itself. And if Bitcoin does do what it's done in the past, we're not going to get the fireworks and new all-time highs probably for a couple of months. Once it happens, you better be locked in. You better have your bags ready because it will be crazy to the upside. But for now, look for, if you're longing, a level to potentially get some exits back up towards 70, maybe $71,000. Look then to potentially either enter a short or a new long position after a dip comes into play. That's what I got right now for Bitcoin TA. Again, very, very bullish right now. You guys, whenever I'm bearish, you guys always say, oh, here goes Tim on the bear train. But here's what you need to know. 2 days ago, when everybody else was bearish, when everybody else was saying, I don't think the dip's over, I told you guys, I can't guarantee it, but I am sufficiently happy with how far Bitcoin went to the downside. And unless there's worse news coming out, it's going to be further to the upside. And guess what we have, guys? And we're getting into it right now. You got to smash the like button for it. You got to hit subscribe if you're enjoying the show so far. But we're going to get into some news that's absolutely causing Bitcoin to move back to the upside, and why I think 70,000 to 71,000 definitely could happen within the next couple of weeks. Maybe week or two, give or take. But T-Shroom, let's get into some of that news. What's happening today?
Absolutely. Let's jump into it. Like Tim said, it's brought to you all by Lux Algo, the AI solution for turning confusion into clarity. And you guys can get access to this proprietary indicator by just clicking the link here in the description for this awesome indicator at a discounted rate. They're making this content happen. They're making it possible. And we're really appreciative to them as well. All right, let's jump into the first story here, which is actually an adoption story. Vodafone's PairPoint trying to turn mobile device SIM cards into crypto wallets. This is very big for adoption. Within each mobile phone is a SIM card, and we have focused on linking the mobile payment SIM card to digital wallets identified in blockchains using the cryptography we have in those SIM cards for that blockchain integration. They told Yahoo Finance. Palmer outlined how the company's PairPoint brand is advancing Web3 and Internet of Things, IoT services by utilizing SIM card technology for blockchain-based digital wallets on mobile devices. So could we be seeing the equivalent of Solana phones that come out of the box, fully compatible with crypto and wallets enabled? This would be very, very big for adoption. How big is it, though, T-Shroom? Well, I have a little comparison here pulled up for you. How much the top 25 telecom companies make per second, right? And this is Vodafone. You can find right here. It's in the top 10 of telecom companies in the world. Of course, AT&T and Verizon, and then China Mobile are in the top 3. And then you get some of the European ones as well. But just real quick, Vodafone makes something in the realm of $1,500 per second. So in the time that I said that, they made about what? $6,000, something like that. It was a longer sentence. I'll give Vodafone that. But in the same time, AT&T makes $5,300 per second. So in the time I said that, you could have bought yourself a brand new Cadillac. Tim, how do you like them apples?
I have no plans to buy any Cadillacs anytime soon. Listen,
they just came out with a fully electric Cadillac. I think it might be their first.
I'm going to give you some
model.
very, very free and good financial advice.
Yeah.
You only buy crazy good cars with play money that you just have no intentions. You just have too much money you don't know what to do with. Cars are the worst investment for your money.
They are.
Buy more Bitcoin. Buy more Chainlink. There you go, username. That was for you. Buy more of your favorite altcoins to invest. Buy real estate in one way. Buy stocks. Do not buy cars unless you have just made so much money that you're like, you know what? Let's just have some fun and buy a $300,000 car.
Yeah.
Otherwise, buy a Toyota, cheap Toyota, used Toyota.
Wow.
No younger. Let's see, no older. What am I wanting? No younger than 2020. Don't buy a 2021 or 2022 or 2023. Get a used Toyota. Save your money and invest in things that actually make you more money. That was free and very important financial advice.
Absolutely.
But
And
that
right
being
now,
said, we don't give financial advice. So
if you click the Toyota link in the description right here, you can, just kidding. But it would be cool if we got a partnership with Toyota. They're a great group of guys and gals. Moving along, though, this is definitely very big for adoption. The Vodafone movement here, I can't stress enough. Very, very big. All right, let's move along here. Tether implements USDT surveillance in partnership with Chainalysis. This one's not going to affect your portfolio too much, but it's a little bit of regulation creeping in on the stablecoin front. One crucial component is sanction monitoring, which provides detailed information on addresses and transactions involving sanctioned entities. This enables a thorough understanding of any potential risk associated with such transactions. Furthermore, the illicit transfer detector is integral to identifying transaction associated with illicit trade like terrorist financing. So, Tim, is this the end for stablecoins? Are they becoming fully compliant, maybe going overboard and providing information to the government that maybe kind of goes counter to the crypto vision? What do you think here?
it was inevitable. I mean, that's whether we at full blown CBDCs or whether the government gets access to information via stable coins. That's going to happen. It's not the end. Ultimately, it's not the end. It's not what you want, but when do we get what we want in life? You got to sometimes take what you get.
Right. Well, meanwhile, what's the difference here? Is it because this sounds like if you're just tuning in for the first time, you're new to crypto. You're like, well, is this the end for crypto? I mean, if the government can control crypto, then what's the point of it? Well, the thing is that USDT and USDC, they're stable coins of the dollar. So already they're bowing to the dollar in a way that you don't need to in a future where crypto is dominant. But they're also not Bitcoin. They're very distinct from Bitcoin, which is not censorable. It's something that you can go and it's transparent. So you can see what transactions are being made between addresses. But just to buy and hold Bitcoin on a cold wallet does not require you to KYC. So while someone could see what your address is sending and receiving, theoretically, they can't know who you are. They don't know who that address belongs to. Whereas in the case of USDT and USDC, they are also not doing exactly that. They're not delivering the KYC of per address, but what they are doing is delivering information of the flows of that currency of USDC or USDT to governments that may subpoena them or just go ahead and tap right into the blockchain feed and get the live data to be able to surveil who the government thinks are criminals. So obviously, as a crime fighting tool, this is a positive, right? But if we know anything about governments, it's that they'll take tools to especially surveil the population, and they'll go too far with that. So obviously, the spirit of crypto is not in this movement with USDT, in my opinion. However, that doesn't mean that it's the worst thing ever and that crypto's over and you got to sell your Bitcoin and Ethereum. That is not what's happening here. In fact, what this does indicate is that prices are probably going to go up for crypto. Why? Because this is some of the biggest operators in the stablecoin industry saying we are complying. This means that they have gained regulatory clarity from likely the DOJ, SEC, FTC, Federal Trade Commission, and others, that this is what they need to do in order to operate over the long term. Do we like it? To be honest with you, I don't. But will it stop some crime? It probably will. Will it be a tool for government overreach? It also will. All those things are true.
Yeah. Yeah. How long do you think stable coins attached to the U.S. dollar stay? Like, at a certain point, do you think we actually can be purchasing via crypto? Like, does there another way we create, like, not a stable coin, obviously, but a coin that's more consistent? that everything just switches off?
In like it would be like a stable coin. Theoretically, I mean the new coin.
Here's the problem. The problem is we
Go ahead.
can't, especially us Americans.
Yeah.
We can't help but think of things outside of terms of dollars.
Mhm.
Like, oh, I just made $1,000 in my Bitcoin trade. Oh, Bitcoin's now worth $70,000, 50,000. We always say dollars. We always just say dollars. I think there's a certain point, even if we keep using the word dollar might mean something different in the future. I think there is a certain point where, and I don't know if it's 5 years, 10 years, 15 years. Anyone who says it's going to take, like, I've heard people be like, oh, it's going to take $100 to get off the US dollar. I'm like, guys, we're not even 100 years removed from where the US dollar wasn't really that powerful. I don't think things can change and evolve very, very fast. I saw an interview. This is a tangential thing, but the interview of Joe Rogan and Tucker Carlson. Was it them? No, it was Joe Rogan and Andrew the comedian, Andrew Schultz. They were discussing how crazy is it that both of them were going to live in a time where when they were little, you couldn't get a hold of someone unless they were at home by their phone attached to a wire. Then they were in a place where you could contact them via this crazy thing called the internet, and they will both be alive where we have singularity, where I can literally call you up, T-Shroom, and then boom, where it's like we're in the same place just talking to each other like we're sitting in the same room. People will live through all three of those phases. That's how crazy fast technology has been. I think an argument can be made. We've seen no greater and faster development in a 100-year span in technology. And technology is not just electric. I mean, technology in terms of tools and what humans use. Mm-hmm. This last 100 years has been the fastest, most explosive time period our world has seen in advancement of technology in its history. And so to say that, to get off the US dollar is going to take 100 years, that's the whole point of this conversation. I'm saying we've done a lot of things the last 100 years very, very fast. People 100 years from now might not even remember what the word dollar means.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think coming back to your original question, basically for as long as the U.S. military and the U.S. bond market maintains stability, and the global interest is for those two institutions to be perpetuated into the future, I think that the dollar is still the center of the cultural structure of money, and I don't see that changing. To my perspective, the U.S. military and the U.S. bond market are still so strong that you would not really believe it. It's so much stronger than the U.S. than foreign militaries even combined. That's a belief that you may disagree with, but that's what I believe. I think that we would like to think that the U.S. is weak. Maybe sometimes some I don't want to believe that, but sometimes people might want to believe that if they want this huge rush of crypto overthrow of the world. To be honest with you, from a financial standpoint, that is. It's more possible. From a military and bond market replacement of just fundamental supply and demand of government-backed securities like bonds. That is not going to be replaced for a while. Therefore, again, the dollar is going to be dominant culturally, financially, and it'll be the means of trade for a while. However, I think online transactions will start to be dominated by stable coins and cryptocurrencies. So it'll be really interesting to see. I mean, some of the bigger projects that we've seen launch this year, Athena comes to mind, have been stable coins, right? To come in and compete in that market. PayPal launching their own stable coin as well last year, right? That market is going to be very important, and they're all tethered to, no pun intended, the dollar, right? And I think that is because, even the most, Bitcoin maxied, folks still realize that the dollar is culturally dominant. It's culturally, financially, the culture of Wall Street, the culture of Washington, the culture of, as much as they like to disagree, of Beijing and London and Germany and all of the world's global, powers, centralized hubs of power. They all are talking about the dollar, pricing in the dollar, and if not the dollar, the euro, right? So I said a lot there, but I have a lot of thoughts on it, right? Because it's a very interesting topic. We've got a couple more stories, but any cherries on top of that one there?
No, I think I did. It's a decent little rabbit hole. It was a fun little rabbit hole, but
for sure,
we're good. Yeah.
Yep. Absolutely. All right. Well, we've got a clip here. We're going to take a look. We're going to take a listen.
Oh, this is good.
So let's go ahead and do that now.
The U.S. government can't go bankrupt because we can print our own money. It obviously begs the question, why exactly are we borrowing in a currency that we print ourselves? I'm waiting for someone to stand up and say, why do we borrow our own currency in the first place?
Like you said, they print the dollar. So why does the government even borrow?
Well, I mean, again, some of this stuff gets, some of the language that some of the language and concepts are just confusing. I mean, the government definitely prints money, and it definitely lends that money, which is why the government definitely prints money, and then it lends that money by selling bonds.
Mm-hmm. Any thoughts right there, Tim? Does that eloquence impress you?
Yeah, I think we're going to watch the rest of this. An interesting drinking game would be if you had to take a sip every single time he reiterates that they can print money and then lend money. Let's keep going on. This is a good one. Let's go more. We got to see the whole thing.
Wait,
back it up, because I think
and it definitely lends that money, which is why the government definitely prints money, and then it lends that money by selling bonds. Is that what they do?
He's asking us.
They
He needs some milk.
Sell bonds. Yeah, they sell bonds, right? Because they sell bonds and people buy the bonds and lend them the money. Yeah. So a lot of times, at least to my ear with MMT, the language and the concepts can be kind of unnecessarily confusing, but there is no question that the government prints money and then it uses that money to I guess I can't really talk. I don't get it. I don't know what they're talking about. Like, because it's like the government clearly prints money. It does it all the time, and it clearly borrows. Otherwise, we wouldn't be having this debt and deficit conversation. So, I don't think there's anything confusing there.
Oh, nothing confusing. but at second 40, I noticed this. What does he say?
He lends that money, which is why the government definitely prints money, and then it lends that money by selling bonds. Is that what they do?
Is that what they do?
I would describe that emotion as confusion right there. I don't know how you would describe that.
Yeah.
So Tim, what are we to make of this? I mean, I have some initial reactions. If this isn't an AI fake, this is very embarrassing for the current administration and for the Washington establishment as a whole.
So this is what is so funny about this T-Shroom, because this is both figuratively and literally Bidenomics. Meaning, Bidenomics is this confusing. But this is literally the man who's in charge of the Bidenomics. He has no idea what he's talking about. And he self-admits. Here's what I really want to know.
The U.S. government can't go.
Who posted this video? It must not have been a very... Because it almost has a feel as if the people making the video are in agreement that they're like, we need to just print more money. Based off what the first lady's saying. But who recorded that and said, yeah, that's good to go? Let's put that one out there.
I read... So it's from this. It's from Finding the Money film. It's from a documentary, it looks like. I'm going to click on this. Let me go off screen really quick because who knows what's going to pop up. But, okay, it looks pretty normal. It's just like the Twitter account for a documentary. Findingmoneyfilm.com. Finding Money will flip your understanding of the national debt and the nature of money upside down. Okay, documentary.
It's a documentary. Okay. Yep. Well, I want to do a deeper dive into who did it because again, they must be more conservative and think that Bidenomics stinks because there's no way that somebody who's pro Bidenomics released that interview. It's just so horrible. It's so, oh goodness. And here's the thing, like I have my own personal views, but I've met and I've talked with and debated / conversed with people who have very radically different economical thoughts than I do. And there are so many people out there that are very well educated and very, very articulate and are very good at their debate points. And they make a lot of sense when you look at the Keynesian economics and they can spin a web where it's like, no, this is actually a beautiful system that will benefit every single country that adopts it. Now, forget the data points that every single country that has copied Keynesian economics has fallen apart economically. There's arguments that can be made that say it's a good thing. This guy's supposed to be the face of it. This guy is supposed to be the go-to person to explain to us what is happening in our economy right now, and he has no earthly idea what is going on.
Yeah. And it really, I mean, Tim's saying that he actually is. Like, that's not hyperbole. Yeah. Go to White House, whitehouse.gov, Council of Economic Advisors. He is named under President Biden. He's the first name. Jared Bernstein serves as chair, and Heather Bushey, and then others are named of the CEA, the Center for Economic Affairs. So they're not. This isn't like a. I don't think this is AI fake at all. I mean, that would be their out here, is if they could prove that this was actually just an AI video. That would be very convenient, right, for them if they could prove that.
It would I'll tell you this right now. It would be the greatest AI video that's ever been produced. Yeah. Usually AI videos, they're getting a little tricky, but you can still tell. There's always something a little off. This one, I think that's him. I don't think there's any part of me that questions if that's real or not.
Yeah. And look, it's possible. Look, I mean, it just goes to show that, like, these crypto. There's aspects of crypto that's definitely not simple. I mean,
yeah,
unless you're doing away with the interest rate itself and loaning and all these things, like, you're not simplifying finance necessarily. But crypto is it's bringing it on chain, making it transparent, making it trustless, making it immutable, which is, in contrast to TradFi. So it is complicated, but the American, the TradFi system is probably as complicated, but needlessly. That complication doesn't add to efficiency or the furthering of freedom principles that you would want. They're just like that because they were created, around a couple hundred years after the founding of the country, and so it's just a product of a pretty good start. It's a pretty good system, but it's needing of update, and the simplicity of which is just not there, and it's needless to the point where the president of the Council of Economic Affairs can't explain something that, to be honest with you, I could only start to explain that probably late last year, the dynamics in the bond market and how that affects. Yeah. So
that's not your job. Your job isn't to know how to explain that. That guy's Kyle Fields. I'm responding. He said, "I'd like to think he's more confused into how to phrase it for them." Kyle, I would like to think that too, and that's true. Some people are so intelligent they don't know how to simply put things to where the normal human could understand it. The problem with this is he literally says a statement and then asks himself, "Is that right?" And then wrestles with, "Is it right or not?" And then at the end of it says, "Oh, it's not. It's not that confusing." And it's like, buddy, you were confusing yourself while you were speaking.
Yeah,
that shouldn't have been a question mark. He shouldn't have had to wrestle with it. That should just be common knowledge. He speaks about it. He knows it because everything about his job is about how that makes the American economy better. Here's what I'll say. And again, we try our hardest not to get political, but T-Shroom, is this not like probably the fourth or fifth really bad example of people in the Biden administration who clearly are not qualified for their job? They have no idea what they are doing, yet they run the greatest, strongest, even though a lot of things aren't great. America is still the greatest and strongest government and economy in the world. And yet we're run by people who have absolutely no idea what they're doing.
Yeah. Well,
that's why the dollar might not be here in 100 years, right there. If you needed any other evidence right there, that was it.
Yeah. I think that, what you could see is the dollar become kind of like a token in an arcade,
another altcoin
for the U.S. government. Like, if you roll the tape forward, the real question is, what is going to be a more dominant structure in 50 to 100 years? Is it going to be corporations working together to control the movement of mass on Earth and the movement of information on Earth, or is it going to continue to be a semi-governmental structure that is taking input from both corporations and laborers to make decisions for the people, right? So my hunch is that probably the trend is going to continue where corporations will continue to snowball their power and influence, especially as the information age becomes so much more important and tools like AI emerge for corporations to leverage that information for control and for profit, right? I think that the government just doesn't stand a chance. But that's really scary, right? Because corporations have never managed a military, and maybe they shouldn't, right? So it's important for the U.S. government to exist to the extent that they manage I'm not going to describe it as efficient, but they manage an effective military, at least for the ends of keeping domestic, American civilians in America safe. And we don't want that to change. At least I don't. So overall, yes, there's lots of leadership within the U.S. government that is very questionable. And clearly, the corporate and maybe the crypto tech bro future is going to take over, and the U.S. government will recede in its roles. But then that question emerges: okay, we could see the bond market replaced, the U.S. bond market replaced, the global financial system could theoretically be replaced without too much pandemonium. But how do you replace a military? How do you replace the physical force that is exerted on the world to keep peace? I do not have. I'm so far from an answer to that. Unless you just get everybody to agree to be peaceful. Unless you can lock all the criminals up today and keep them locked up.
T-Shum, we're getting into a lot of different world problems that need
are
fixing. That we'll fix those problems tomorrow.
Yeah,
we'll have all the answers.
That's my 9
let's go
o'clock.
ahead. Let's go ahead and move to the next topic. We have more stories here, or is it time to get into Factoid and Q&A?
We have one more, but let's go ahead and jump on into the Factoid of the day, brought to you by who we trust, iTrust Capital. You've heard of them, and at this point, you love them. You love hearing about them so much that you want to hear the Factoid of the day. What is the name of the Chicago Bulls home court, Tim? Is it Dude Wipes Arena, Marlboro Center, Fruit of the Loom Arena, or is it United Center?
That's hard. Yeah, because I don't think it's Dude Wipes Arena.
You don't think it's Dude Wipes? Okay.
It honestly, at this point, it could be. Obviously, like a lot of arenas are sponsored.
You're ruling out Dude Wipes in the stream.
United
Hopefully,
Center,
you're not ruling out Dude Wipes in the bathroom.
Well, I'll rule them out until they want to sponsor us.
Gotcha.
If Dude Wipes is listening and you guys want to sponsor the Investing Bros, I will answer A, Dude Wipes Arena. But until that happens, I'm not answering that. Let's go back. I think it's United Center.
Okay.
I feel like the Fruit of the Loom wouldn't sponsor one either. And Dude Wipes, I could see Dude Wipes sponsoring, but maybe like something else, not the whole arena.
Gotcha.
I want to go United Center.
United Center. All right, he's going United. And he's taking it, ladies and gentlemen. He's got it. Over at the Chicago Bulls official Wikipedia, their arena's name is the United Center. Tim, how does it feel to be so intelligent?
I like getting things right, that's for sure. I don't know if you have access to the Elf's psychology records. How did the Elf come up with the other three options? Because this was one that is like the other three were kind of ridiculous.
Huh. Okay. And what's your point? You want to know the methodology of the Elf?
I want to know the methodology of coming up with fake answers to fool me.
I think that the Elf is just a very creative fellow. You know, that's where we're going to land on that.
What a creative fellow. All right. Well, it's good to be back in the win column. I do think I'd missed. Had I missed the previous two or just previous one? I know I missed No, Wednesday, Caleb and I got it right, but I kind of leaned on Caleb for that. I do believe. Did we get it right or did we get it wrong? We got it right.
Yep. I believe you got it right. I can't remember what it was.
I think I got Tuesday and I might have gotten Monday wrong. There was a time where I got like I think I got like 4 out of the 5 right that week or something.
Yeah, the Factoid was making them easy.
Yeah. Well, let's get into if you guys are enjoying the show, smash a like, hit subscribe. Let's get to our last story, and then we'll get into Q&A to finish up the show today.
Absolutely. It's not so much a story, but if Jaron Birdstein asked the question, how does the global financial system work? Why do we loan if we print? He may have given you an answer that would have started with the M2 money supply, because that's really what you're describing here when you talk about loans. You talk about the government loaning and printing. It's to control the M2 money supply. It's to control liquidity. You may have heard that term thrown around in the finance world. But as you can see here, this account, Thomas, I don't know what that website is, but Thomas Ferrer has put up an excellent image here. Tim, you sent this to me. You can see the dates here, start in 2020, end in 2025. And according to this, the M2 money supply is ready to send Bitcoin springing higher once we tick back, and we've gotten our first histogram. We'll have to really zoom in to see this. But what is this? What is this making you think, Tim? Is this making you bullish?
It's bullish. I mean, again, you this morning did a great job. You broke down the job reports coming out. Bad for people's jobs, but ultimately good for investments. And that's what Jerome Powell kind of even got to in his speech the other day, in his press conference, is that ultimately there was elements of they saw still numbers saying there was too much demand for jobs. meaning there still was more people offering jobs than there were people looking for jobs. And when you have that, it's going to make the economy, it's going to make inflation numbers kind of continue to go up. You kind of, in a way, he has to hurt the economy little ways. Well, when you have bad job reports come out, I mean, I saw it, I don't know the exact numbers, but it's something along the lines of like, was it half? Like it was half the expectation of job. Was it?
Yeah, I can pull it up.
New jobs. I think it's half the number of expected new jobs were created or something like that.
So the non-farm payroll, which is
payroll, that's what it was. Yeah.
Yeah, the actual was
a little more than
175.
half.
Yeah, the forecast was well over 220,000.
Okay,
the
I was thinking
unemployment
the previous, I
rate.
guess.
The unemployment rate was just marginally over the consensus, and in my opinion, that print is really not that hot. It was almost dead on. But this one
the
is
non-farm
huge
payroll. Yeah, it was a huge miss, and it's symboling that the economy is showing the weak signs. I mean, we saw the GDP here recently hit 1.6.
Mm-hmm.
That's the lowest it's been in a while now. We're seeing these things happen, and ultimately, this is what Jerome Powell is wanting to see happen, so that inflation starts cooling off. So this is positive for investments. It's going to be positive for your Bitcoin, positive for your altcoins. Of course, we saw altcoins spike here, but I am very empathetic though to anyone who this did it cost. I mean, I don't know if anyone's watching here, or you probably do know someone. There are people whose lives who are being affected by this. There are people who will struggle to put food on the table. They'll have to work 2, 3, 4 jobs to live paycheck to paycheck because of the dumb decisions our economic leaders are making, like Bernstein. But this is a crypto show, and we're here to tell you guys crypto price go up or crypto price go down. And in this case, crypto price go up is what you should take away from this. So Eric Wallen says that's me too. I don't know if Eric's saying that the 4 jobs or if he's saying you lost a job. Eric, did you lose a job recently? Did you get pay cut? I'm sorry about that, if that's true. But no, yeah, I mean, most T-Shroom, how many jobs do you have right now? We'll just cover our jobs.
I don't know that I have any jobs. I mean, I'm a contractor and and business owner.
In more ways than one.
I don't know. I think the
yeah,
future of employment is as opaque as anything else. I'm not concerned about having a job as much as I am getting fiat to be able to, as quickly as I can, to convert it into crypto.
I would say, I guess the job is a bad way of putting it. Forms of pay. Like
how many do I have?
How many different forms of payment
5.
do you have? Yeah,
Probably
I think
5.
I'm at 3, I think.
Okay.
Recently, and I'm very glad for what happened to us over the last couple hours, but recently I did allow Taylor, when I say allow, it's like I make these.
As the man
I told
of the
Taylor
house.
It was okay. I told Taylor it was okay for her to step away from her job. She had like an online sales job, but it was really hurting her ability to take care of Brody and to do things she wanted to do. So I was like, you know what? I got you. We're gonna make this work. And somehow, blessings from God, I'm working like 3. I have 3 different forms of payment, and we're able to pay all our bills and invest a little something, continue to DCA in. It was perfect timing this recent time. I mean, I got to buy borderline the perfect dip based off of when we had new money come into the account, and we're like, well, we budgeted out, we don't need this to pay bills, so hey, go invest in crypto. But yeah, that is the new America. The new America is, you got to embrace that hustle mentality again. And I almost act like I'm complaining. I want you guys to know I'm not complaining. I'm so blessed. The 3 gigs I have to make money, and that's not including investing bros, are phenomenal, and I love them, and I love what I get to do every single day. I work long hours. I can't wait for the days maybe where, investing pros goes to a level where both T-Shum and I can focus and make you guys more content and spend more time with the community and stuff like that. But at the moment, that's where we are. It's like investing bros is not necessarily making enough money to support both of us. So we work different things. And I think that's a lot of people in chat. And there's positives and there's negatives to that kind of a lifestyle. Yeah. I think it is everyone's dream to have just one job, one form of payment that you're passionate about. That's another thing that's really important, though, is not having a dead-end job that you do 9 to 5, and you make the money to pay the bills and invest, but you hate what you're doing. I said this the other day on Twitter. I was like, listen, guys, the point of crypto is not to invest and make enough money in the next year or two to where you can quit working and go to the beach and go to the golf course and never work another day in your life. Because like, let's just pretend you guys hit the jackpot and you pick a coin that 1,000 X's or something and you make $1 billion. I still believe you should use that money as financial freedom to find a job, to find work that you thoroughly enjoy, that you are able to give back and provide goods and services for other people. I mean, that's what business is. Businesses that don't help people are bad businesses. The point of a business, the point of work, is you're bettering the lives of other people as well. But when you hate your job, that's just a sucky situation all the way around. I'm a big proponent of, hey guys, find a way to financially do what I've been able to do. And ultimately, I've been very lucky and blessed to be where it is. But like, I enjoy my work on the day-to-day basis. I enjoy getting to talk about crypto and talk to other crypto people and help make sales for different crypto companies. It's a blast. It's an amazing thing. And I want everybody else to have that as well. Unfortunately, most people are probably going to have to work a lot harder for it than I did. And I don't know what to say. Like, I'm not going to brag and be like, I did everything. And I'm like, no, like the Lord has blessed me very heavily. I've been very lucky. Things have fallen into my lap. Some things I've worked very, very hard for. Yeah, I will say something.
I was going to say you've worked hard, dude. Like,
but I that's what I want everybody else. I want everybody to have the job that they can't wait to wake up in the morning and go contribute to the society.
And that doesn't mean necessarily being a crypto YouTuber. Like that's not what we're saying. Like it could be if you're passionate about, you love making pastries for your wife or your husband. Like open a pastry shop. Now those aren't going to be the most profitable businesses that you could create in the digital age. But if that's your passion, right, it's going to give you the income to be able to just kind of sit back and not work 5 days a week or pursue other passions and help it and invest in other more cutting edge projects, whether that be through crypto or just locally, other local tech companies or whatever you want to invest in. Like that is the goal, right? In Robert Kiyosaki's definition of wealth that I really like has nothing to do with the amount of dollars in your bank account. It has to do with how many days can you go without working and your income is unaffected. That's wealth to me, is days that you can go, and that doesn't necessarily mean vacation. That can also mean that you can go help an aunt whose husband just passed away in Illinois, right? That you weren't anticipating, but because you are wealthy, you are able to go be there and be that pillar of support in your family when they need you. That's wealth. If you got to say, sorry, aunt, the boss is down my neck. I'm a quarter behind on my work. This is just, it's not going to doable. That's not wealth, right? That's borderline slavery, right? You can't leave your geographical location. If that's hitting you emotionally, take a breath. Everything's going to be okay. Don't quit your day job right now. Think about it. But, these are the reasons that I'm in crypto for sure. We've got some good questions in here, Tim.
Yeah, I love the even comments like RDXRP1 said, I own a restaurant. I'm assuming what he meant is restaurant because he said resto. Lots of work, but I love it. Yeah, I believe personally, T-Shroom, I think we've talked about this before. I believe we're human beings made to work. Like we don't do well when we don't work. And it sounds weird. When you're a kid, all you want to do is play. But when you get older, you dread that work thing. But it's like ultimately, if you find the right job, you were made to work. It's actually a fulfilling thing. And then, of course, we talked about the studies showing like when people retire, especially people that retire young, the mental aptitude drops pretty fast when you stop challenging your brain to work and to problem solve and to fix. So, like, I love that. RDXRP, like, yeah, work hard. Love what you do. It has to be worth it to you. And at the moment, if you hate your job, but you have to do it to provide, it's worth it. But have that end goal. Have that, what is the end process of my job experience? How can I get to, I'm a big proponent of that. If you can get to a place where you own your own business, guess what? You're going to have sucky days. There's going to be days where it really sucks. However, it's your business and you can do as much or as little as you want and you'll find fulfillment in that. Don't try to avoid hard work. That's never a recipe for success. No. But get the hard work that fills you up and challenge you on the daily basis to live the best life you can.
I would even go as far as say, never expect to be satisfied with your work-life balance. It's always going to be a struggle. You're always going to feel a little bit of guilty because you're not working enough. And you're also going to feel a little bit too exhausted because you're working too much, right? Never expect to be fully comfortable. You're going to have days where the clouds move and the sun just shines right down, and that's great. Be grateful in those moments, but don't expect them every day of the freaking week. Some days you're going to wake up, your eyes are going to be dry, you're going to be with zero energy, and everybody feels that way. Even Jeff Bezos, even Elon Musk, everybody wakes up sideways sometimes. It's not just you. But the more you wake up and say, and push those feelings to the side and say, I'm going to work hard regardless, and I'm going to push through, as long as you're not pushing through any kind of unhealthy things mentally where you should be taking mental health days perhaps, that is good. That is progress towards the goal. And then the problem you have once you've amassed a bunch of capital is, what do I do with my time? Right? So it's whether you're on the side of wealth or not, you're going to have problems. It's not like once you're wealthy, all your problems go away. You just have different problems. And one of them is guilt for sitting around and doing nothing. I've known some very wealthy people who spent a lot of time and a lot of attention making sure other people didn't think that they were just sitting around doing nothing. So, be careful what you wish for. Definitely strive for wealth. Wealth is binary in the sense that you do want to pursue it and attain it. But don't think that it's going to be the solution to human problems. Did get some breaking news. And Tim, we got some good questions in here. Breaking news, Elon Musk says the dollar will be worth nothing if the U.S. doesn't do something about its national debt. Obviously, I can't agree more with the man we were just talking about there.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think I didn't even know he said that. We kind of wrestled with that earlier. He just went way more direct and to the point.
Well,
Eric Wallen
he's
said,
basically an investing bro, right? So we're all kind of on the same wavelength.
Yeah, he pretty much is. He says he keeps telling me that he'll be free next week to come on the show
to be a guest. Yeah,
and then we get close to it, and life gets crazy, and he cancels. But someday Elon will come on.
He's just a busy bee.
We do have to put this to a vote, and I'm willing to abide by what the community thinks. Eric Wallen says, Tim, did you go to the gym today? Okay, this is a complicated question. To set it up, just so you guys know, I'm now getting into morning workouts again because a lot of times I have to work later in the evenings, and if I want to spend time with Brody before his bedtime, I just can't get a lift in. So I was like, screw this, I'm going to wake up early. And every time I don't wake up early and work out on weekdays, Monday through Friday, if you guys in Discord remind me, and I don't work out, I'm going to pay one of you $10. So Eric's asking, did you go to the gym today? And there were people in Discord earlier. I had a lot of work to catch up on today. I did go to the gym, but I didn't do necessarily a workout. I did mobility, like stretching, because I slept weird and my neck is like all. Does that count to do stretching and mobility stuff? Or do I?
Well, the smart contract threshold would be, did you go to the gym? Did your physical body?
I'll put it this way. I didn't sweat. I didn't sweat, and I didn't put my body, stretching puts your muscles under tension for sure. But I didn't do like lifting or cardio. I literally, like, my neck and my back was too, like, I was all kinked up. So it was like, all right, I'm going to do nothing but stretch this morning. I kind of walked around to loosen things up and then just did mobility. Bedridden says it does not count. Pascal says it does count. All right, here we go. We got to just make a poll. And but the rest of the Q&A, you guys vote, and I will let the community decide. Yeah. Does stretching count as working out?
And we've got a cool announcement, baby-related announcement here from B-Ball Golf 72 said, this is a semi-announcement. I bought my 5th ETH during the dip. Always figured I'd eventually gift one each to my kids. A day later, my wife is pregnant with our 3rd child. 1 ETH for each of us. So I love it. It's a story weaving in pregnancy and procreation with Ethereum, which is procreating a blockchain that will be with us for a long, long time, more than likely. I like it there. B-Ball Golf 72, tuning in to the 3 p.m. show quite a bit. You do not go unnoticed, B-Ball Golf, and your participation is not only appreciated, it's essential for the community, for the bros to grow. Peter says, Peter says, do y'all plan to hold Bitcoin after the cycle's peak? I am not sure if I should dump or hold. Tim.
Yeah, so the answer is yes. The question is how much. And I'll just say, talking percentages. Will I hold a percentage of Bitcoin throughout the rest? Yes. I don't know how much, though. And I've told you guys before about the concept of potentially borrowing against it. We'll have to wait and see. I want to find a good, if I end up borrowing against it, because I have looked into it. I told you guys if I find a good method to hold Bitcoin and then borrow against it in a good way, I'd let you know. The interest rates are everything I've found. If you guys can find something better, let me know. I keep finding a bunch of 10% interest rates. So like a lot of times the way it works is like either let's say I want to borrow $100,000, right? To get that $100,000, I probably have to put up at least 200,000 of Bitcoin as collateral in the first place, and then I'm probably paying 10% interest rates. And then what's worse is if, like, let's say Bitcoin crashes by 50% in price from the time I enter that loan, I'm still good, but I'm on thin ice. If it goes to 51%, I'm going to get an update that says, hey, you're going to have to pay extra money in there because your leverage dropped below the level. You don't have enough Bitcoin in there right now to drop it. So that makes me think, I was like, do I want to borrow money when Bitcoin's at the top and pay a heavy incentive? I don't know. I haven't decided yet. It makes me think that I probably will need to sell some of my Bitcoin, which is not what I wanted to do, but we'll have to wait and see. I'll keep you guys posted on what I end up doing there. But if you're saying, am I going to sell everything at the top? The answer to that question is no. I definitely have a big bag I'm going to be holding for the long term.
Yeah. And since Tim gave such a short answer, I'll give a little bit more thought to mine. No, just kidding. We're having fun. I think ultimately I want to hold more Bitcoin into the future because it's the best currency, right? It's also the best commodity. It's the best asset to hold, in my opinion, right? So the one thing to keep in mind, I haven't sold all of my stocks that I've held over the long term. Like I haven't rotated out of Microsoft, right? And I've got a decent amount of dry powder in that. So to some extent, you know, I still want to be diversified into other assets, that's somewhat of a more conservative play, and maybe it mainly has to do with I got such a good entry point on Microsoft, and that probably has more to do with it than anything. But yeah, no, it depends what my goals are. Similar to Tim, it's like, do I want to buy a house? That's a real question. I don't know that the answer is yes in the next 10 years, because Amanda and I, our plans are to be traveling around the U.S. doing travel contracts in the medical industry, in the physical therapy industry, and I'm just going to be a remote internet dude, right? And so, you know, that doesn't necessitate me selling a lot of Bitcoin until we do want to go ahead and purchase a piece of real estate and build a home or buy a home. And who knows? Who knows if we ever do that?
Lord willing, again, if Brody's doing good in the morning, I'm still planning on being here for the Saturday show. But if for some reason he's not, I'm not going to come. But I do want to get into that topic, T-Shirt, because I've been wrestling very hard here recently about purchasing a home versus renting for the rest of my life. Depending on who you talk to, different investment gurus will tell you different things. Dave Ramsey will say for sure go buy a home, but then you get some of these other newer investors say do not buy that, rent and save. And the question is, like, if you can find something better to put your money in, because ultimately when you buy a home, you're going to live there, but it's also investment. At the end of the 30 years, you could sell it, and all of a sudden now it's worth X amount. But we're going to talk about this tomorrow, between taxes and then mortgage payments and interest rates and everything else, let's say you bought a house with cash today for $400,000, $500,000. Would buying a house for $500,000 be more valuable than buying $500,000 of Bitcoin and holding it for 30 years? That's the question. So we'll wrestle with that tomorrow. We got a question in here. I think it's a good one from Jason Phil. Said, I don't know how to get into the basic Discord. Kind of new. I did buy Lux Algo, but that's as far as I got. I don't know how to DM Tim. All right, here we go. I'm going to show you. We're going to walk through the process here. Share my screen here, T-Shirt. We're going to get a little bit of a inception here, guys. There's these two.
We're making sure that we're covering all of our personal identification as well, if to the extent that may be shown on screen.
I'm only going to show YouTube and Discord. I'm pretty sure we should be good with both of those.
Okay.
All right, let's go. Let's do this. All right, here we go. So you're on the screen right here. Those guys, boy, do they know crypto.
Handsome.
You know what I mean? I love their hats as well. Let's go ahead and scroll on down here. You're coming in here. You're in our description. You're going to come all the way down to Free Investing Bros Discord. Click that link. Sign up. It will take you. It won't look identical to mine, but it's going to look something along the lines of this. This is the general chat. Make sure you're in the general chat. You're doing a lot of stuff over here, but ultimately, you're going to scroll down and you should see what we would have as VIP traders. you can click on Get Access and create a ticket. And in this ticket, you can send me a picture, you can send me your email, just somehow prove to me that you purchased LuxAlgo. I'll verify it. I will get you in, and then you'll get access to our trader chat. I did just message trader chat saying I'm not going to be able to do the live stream tonight. But in here, I'm posting trade setups. I'm commenting. We're going back and forth on what's happening in the crypto space. If you guys have been in here recently, I think I'm batting 1,000 at the moment in the last couple of days for trade setups hitting their take profit. It's easy when you're bullish and then everything goes to the upside, though. So, not going to get 100% of them correct, but that's the method right there. Not only for you, Jason, but everybody else. When you buy LuxAlgo, if you're asking, how do I go from LuxAlgo purchase into the Discord and get into that trading group? That was the method right there. Hopefully that helps.
And I've just posted a link to a YouTube video we did not make, right? But this is just a quick 1-minute YouTube video on how to connect your Discord to YouTube, so that you can make it happen there as well. If that's something you need to do during this process.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Cool.
Did we get a result here on the poll?
Oh,
stretching...
well, I was gonna wait till like pretty much the very end because right now, looks like it flipped. It was resoundingly saying yes, but now 47% saying yes, 43% saying no to does stretching count as a workout. And here's the thing, guys, get in here and vote. I saw a lot of opinionated comments. I will do whatever you guys say. I am not going to try to like strong arm and be like, well, technically, listen, no, if you guys think that stretching
and there's $10
does
on
not
the line,
count, then I will pay somebody $10. To be fair, I'm going to give there. I think maybe it was 3, but I think I only saw 2 people ask me this morning, maybe 1 person. It's got to be someone who asked me this morning. But the rest of you guys, if you guys join our free Discord, every Monday through Friday, you can ask me, did I work out? And if I didn't, then you guys can get my $10.
Sativio Shimoto asked, how far did you park from the gym, and did you park close to your place? Meaning, kind of insinuating that a walk may have been implied in this journey to the gym.
I walk up to the door, and I unlock it, and then I walk 40 yards, down a flight of stairs. Yeah, about 40 yards to the stairwell in this building. Walk down the stairs, 1 flight of stairs, probably another 30 yards into the gym. And then, I was kind of like, you do some of those like light warm-ups, like the knee tucks and just kind of like loosen things up. And then, a lot of stretching, like hamstrings, neck, trying to, a lot of twisting. Because again, my neck is all jacked up. It's just one of those, like, you sleep on it weird and it's kinked up. So a lot of twisting and stuff. And I'm going to be honest with you guys, and this is why I'm okay with you guys voting no. I might have broken a slight sweat, but I didn't break a sweat that made me say I need to take a shower before I start working. So you guys decide. Again, it's looking like people are saying, no, Tim, that does not count. And I'm completely okay with that. The truth is I probably would. I'm not voting, but I probably would have voted no for myself.
You used to be a personal trainer, right, Tim?
I did.
So would you feel like you had provided an adequate amount of service to one of your workout clients if you had done what you did today?
I would say if that's what the client needed, yes. Like, mobility training is underrated for sure. But I don't think I would tell the client, you put in the good hard work today, go home and rest. You got it all. You're good to go. It's more like sometimes that's just what the person needs to do based off of injuries,
Gotcha, man.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm not trying. Someone says that's like excuses. I really am not trying to make an excuse. I'm leaving that up to you guys, and I'm willing to be a man of my word and pay the $10.
We've got a drill sergeant in the chat. Trucanado said, "Up, down, hit the ground, maggot." That's maggot with an M.
Yeah,
M as in motorcycle. A reference to the United States Armed Forces tradition of saying up, down, referring to the push-up position.
Yeah. Okay, this is another thing. Someone saying here, a lot of fakes. El Thor saying, bros, there's a lot of fakes in Discord trying to scam you. They pretend to be T-Shroom or Tim with almost the same usernames.
Yeah.
Here's what I'll say. Like, I don't think that we're ever gonna. Have you ever reached out to somebody via DM? Or we always had them DM you, right? Or me.
Yeah, we're not going to ever DM you, and if we do, it will be very obvious and clear. And
well, but what I'm saying here is the reason I'm saying we won't do it is because if you come over here and you look at the general chat, this is how you know you'll DM me or T-Shroom. In our Discord, we have red names, so there's going to be other fake TA Tims, there's going to be fake T-Shrooms. Mine is at TA_Tim. T-Shrooms is at T-Shroom period. But ultimately, make sure if you want to message, we're not going to message you, okay? Unless we've already been messaging you and then you know it's us. You DM us, click on the red name, and that's how you know you have the right person. If you don't have the red name in our Discord, it's not the right person.
And another thing you can do, I like to do, because I've had to cold DM some people sometimes, and what I like to do is just say, hey, I'd like to confirm that it's really you. If they DM me, right, and I want to talk to this person, I might say, hey, what coin are you the most bullish on, right? And then they'll say Chainlink, and I'll be like, okay, I know it's this guy. Or I'll be like, hey, how many kids do you have? Or I'll ask some detail that like the average troll, the average scammer probably wouldn't know. And is that a perfect, security approach? No, but it's better than just blindlessly saying, oh yeah, here's all my information. Person that contacted me who I think is cool. So,
yeah. B-Ball Golf 72 said, I specifically said in Discord that today shouldn't count for asking Tim. Does that count? Yeah, you're one of the people I was thinking of, B-Ball Golf. So you count. If again, the chat's swinging. We have till the end of the show, which is coming close. We're at 51%. I mean, here's the thing. Maybe we should call it. Should we just go ahead and call it? Is the
I
show
think we
over,
have to
T-Shroom?
call it, Tim.
It is 4:16. All right, guys. 4:16, 51% said that it was not a workout. So I will oblige the fit. Oh, it just fit 50. But you know what? I'm going to do something very honorable. Even though now it's saying 50-50, when I called it, it was 51%. So I'm paying someone $10.
That is very honorable.
I will choose somebody. Again, I think there's only like 2 or 3 options. I will reach out to you. I will message you in general chat. You DM me, red named Tim Tim, and I will get you $10 one way or another. With that said, though, that is going to wrap up today's show. I hope you guys had a fun time. I had a fun time. It's good to be back. Again, plan is to be here tomorrow morning for the Saturday show. If for some reason Brody's fever is not doing well, there's a chance I end up missing. But I'm planning on being here. Just so you guys also know, I guess before we go, little housework for everybody. The next couple of Saturdays are going to be very hit or miss. T-Shroom, in case you guys did not know, is on the doorsteps of being a taken man. And what I mean by that is he will have a whiff. He will have a whiff within the next month. But when you get married, there usually is a lot of stuff that goes along with it. It's not just the wedding, but he has a bachelor party. He has some other things. I have a vacation and a Mother's Day trip and a vacation I have to go on. There's only going to be like one other Saturday show this month other than tomorrow. So the next month in May, be prepared, guys. Saturdays will be a little off, but June should resume with your normal programming as scheduled. So stick with us. We love all of you guys. Thank you so much for being here. On your way out, if you've not done it already, smash a like, hit subscribe. You guys go be great. Adi.
Oh.
Trying to make paper, turn that better to cake. Money like Lego, connect the dots stack bank. We are investing bros. We are investing bros. Army pipe, lethal on trade. Entries and exits, worthy of praise. Tim, the professor of the TA. Shout it out loud on the PA. T-Shrooms news, got the word. Doing better than what he deserves. Beamer, leave no evidence. Soon fly coop with his dividend. Trying to make paper, turn that better to cake. Money like Lego, connect the dots stack bank. We are investing bros. We are investing bros.